Imagine a group of spacemen on a planet 65 million light years from us and are planning to see strange creatures called humans. They have turned their telescopes towards the Earth, but what do they observe? Can they see us? The image they got of us would have been 65 million light years in the way. But what does that mean? The answer is simple. That means they can see 65 million years ago. Well, what was going on Earth 65 million years ago? Dinosaurs owned the land and hunted each other, turning the Earth into a shambles for each other. But can such a creatures known as space creatures see us at this distance? Let me give a very simple explanation. The speed of light is so slow. And the universe, of course. Every light you see in the sky is related to the past. Many of the stars that shine in the sky at night may have died out thousands of years ago, but their light has only just reached us. Even when you look at your computer monitor, the light is a thing of the past. For example, if you are 60 centimeters away from your monitor, it will take a few moments for the light to reach your eye. But the time is very, very short because the distance between your eyes and the monitor is too small. The amount of time it takes for the monitor light to reach your eye is 2 nanoseconds. 2 nanoseconds is equivalent to 2 billionth of a second. That is, divide 1 second into 2 billion moments. My God, what a terrible number. Now let's go back to space. When you look at the moon, you are actually looking at it for a second. That is, the light and the image of the moon have been a second on a way to reach your eye. I'm sure you're saying to yourself now what a terrible speed light is. But the moon is very close to us, my friend. Sunlight, which is most distance away from the moon, takes 8 minutes to reach us. Most of the planets around us are not very far from Earth, and in astronomy, there are no terms called light minutes or light hours. In order to be able to tell distances easily and not get dizzy like we do, astronomers coined a term called light years. Now, instead of saying that planet is billions of kilometers away, they say that planet is 4 light years away. 1 light year is 9 trillion kilometers. That is a number 9 and 12 to 0 in front of it. The invention of the light year has greatly facilitated the work of astronomers. They no longer have to say 18 trillion kilometers. It's hard to even utter the word a trillion. They now say 2 light years instead of the big number. Now let's turn to our space friends who live 65 million light years away from us and want to set up their telescopes on Earth. But they have a small problem. Their problem is that the planet is too small. 65 million light years is also not a small number. Let me say, what does 65 million light years mean? If you look at the sky without a telescope on a starry night, the farthest star you can see is only 1,000 light years away. Our eyes cannot see more than 1,000 light years away. Without a telescope, of course. The diameter of the Milky Way is 100,000 light years, and the Andromeda Galaxy, which is the closest galaxy to our galaxy, is 5,200,000 light years away. Our own galaxy, namely the Milky Way, and the neighboring galaxy, Andromeda, are just 2 very small spots in the cosmos. We have to cross millions of galaxies to eventually reach a galaxy whose entities are 65 million light years away from us. And now we want to see if they can finally see the Earth. They need a very powerful telescope. But how strong? The best telescope an average person can buy is $3,000. But with this telescope, you can't even see the solar system very well. For example, If you want to see Saturn, you will see it this way. You can see Saturn's ring. Otherwise, you won't be able to tell what it is. So, how can humans see millions of light years away? See, our eyes can only see objects on which light has fallen. If there is no light on these objects, we don't see anything. For example, when you look at a tree, a light has actually fallen on it, and that light is reflected in our eyes. The farther this tree moves, the less light will reach us. That's why it's harder to see. Now, these space creatures want to see light that fell on Earth 65 million years ago. Can they? There is a condition. They can't see our Earth unless they have an incredibly large, powerful, unimaginable telescope. They need a very large telescope. As smart as they are, they can't see us as special with technology. They just need to build a really big telescope. Do you know how long the lens they have to mount on this massive telescope has to be in order to see us? 58 million kilometers. That's a third of the Earth's distance from the Sun. Can't they really build such a telescope? Now imagine that they build such a telescope and set it towards the Earth. What do they see? For example, they can see someone walking around Tokyo. Join us as we continue to answer these scary questions. Please, if you enjoyed the video so far, don't forget the likes and comments for this video. You can also support us by subscribing to the Dark Fact channel. Well, the question was, can you see the inhabitants of the planet, for example, someone walking in Tokyo? Of course not. With this super telescope, they can finally see our Earth like the moon. How do you see the moon? Our friends see the Earth in the same way. Although they do not see the Earth clearly, the image they receive dates back 65 million years, nor the 21st century. Now these strange creatures, they have become very curious and decide to see creatures on Earth. Well, can they? Yes, they can. Of course they can, but it still has a condition. They need to build a telescope that is 4,400,000 light years old. 4,400,000 light years is 40 trillion kilometers. Einstein believed that no civilization and no creature could build such a device of such a greatness, even the aliens, because the enormity of this device and the weight it will carry cannot be tolerated, even for space. That is, space cannot keep such a thing suspended and the telescope will disintegrate. The cloud of our story telescope, after disintegrating, begins to move and becomes a black hole. A black hole that will pull all the planets and galaxies around it into itself. So we conclude that no one can see dinosaurs on Earth at the moment, unless they have access to technology where our brains don't have the power to convince such a knowledge. In this case, those 65 million light years from us can see dinosaurs. Maybe there are creatures watching you right now. Right now, you're watching this video. What do you think?